Okay, I think we are live now, Steve.
All right. We need to get this link to the podfeet.com.
Okay, I'll do it. You get on the right microphone because you're on the wrong microphone. Let's see. Here's the video. I got the video embed code. I will take care of this. I'm gonna go here. Ooh, I'm hearing an echo. Update. Okay. Try the live page now. Refresh. It should be the right one if I did it right.
All right.
And now I have got to tone down that camera. That is just going to drive me crazy. How about this? It's a little less me. A little bright. But that's okay. I can live with that. Does anybody see us?
That didn't work. Whatever you pasted in there, I'm not seeing the video. Does anyone see it? Video disappeared entirely. There's nothing in the video. What did you paste in there?
Maybe I pasted the wrong thing. Let me go find it
It's
again.
got to be the embed link. Do they have that?
Yeah. That's what I thought I did. Edit page. Let me try it again.
Tell me after you've done it.
Okay. Just hit update. So now it's blank. Okay, It should be ready now. This is awesome.
Still blank.
Well, try this, you guys. Try going here. Tell me if you can see that. I just gave them a link in the show notes.
Yeah, I'm going.
Does that do anything?
Yes.
Big full screen. Okay. Okay, let me try. Just try putting in. What happens if I do this? Okay, try the live page again now. Does that work?
Not for me.
Nothing there? Still blank?
Blank, yeah.
That caused me to soil myself.
Does it have a HTTPS?
That's right. That was one of the problems, wasn't it? Yes, that's Steve's right. Okay, good job, Steve. This is like, we have to pull back the memory. That's exactly what it is. I'm sure that's what it was. It was blank because it was not a secure page. All right.
Done it?
I believe you should be able to see us now.
All right, that did it. 704 is on podfeet.com.
All right, 14 minutes. Bring my brightness down a little bit. Oh, I don't have this on. That's a little better. All right, we are balance lighting. It is focusing itself because autofocus is not turned off, but it is now. We've got a link. We've got everything ready to do a show. Well, hello, everybody.
Hello, Podfeet. How are you?
That was easy.
Yeah.
All right. I can actually share my screen. If you think of some time where you think maybe that would be a good time to share my screen, you let me know.
Okay.
I'm not going to quit anything right now. I think we should start recording. So way to go. I have no way of muting you, Steve. So it is up to you.
Okay.
To remember to mute yourself. Do you have the ability to mute yourself?
Let me make sure I've got that button handy here.
Is there one?
I believe there is, as I recall.
Yeah, if you hover over the screen, maybe. Yeah, you can just hit your microphone. All right, this might be the latest we've started in a long time. Hey, Alan. All right, I think I did roll call. Anybody sneak in? Nobody could have been later than us getting in, right? We may see, oh, I gotta, hang on. I'm gonna send Steve a picture. It's 2015. All right, I thought it was 2018. I'm gonna send Steve a picture. Actually, no, there's no way for Steve to show. Oh, Steve could put it into the, show, into what? He could put it into, oh, there it is. Steve, I'm going to airdrop you a photo, hopefully.
I could put it into Discord.
Yeah. Whoops. I just sent it to myself.
Why don't you send it via Telegram?
Yeah, I could. That would probably be better. Now, what did I do? Sorry. Share to Steve. We got to meet Troy Shipkiss today.
That's right.
And we may see him come in. Oh, shoot. What have I done? I need to be here. I'm using my MacBook Pro or my iPad Pro as a second screen, a third screen, fourth screen, and gets a little confusing knowing which one to use. Okay, I'm going to start recording. I don't care what goes on. If you can mute yourself, Steve, that would be awesome.
All right, muting now.
That's a little bit late. What happened? And if it smells like a brewery in here, Steve doesn't know this, but that's his second beer, not his first beer he's drinking right now. I may have accidentally knocked a beer over onto myself when I was trying to take the top off, but don't worry, Steve. I didn't give you the one without the bubbles. All right, here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, November 4th, 2018, and this is show number 704. Well, I've only got 2 solo segments this week because we have to leave room for security bits. But I did want to tell the audience that the live show audience has gotten a very exciting episode so far. We normally start right at 5 o'clock. We got started about quarter after today because Steve's 27-inch iMac sort of bit the dust and had to go to the table of sadness this weekend. He has been having some janky problems with it. It gets locked up from time to time. And he said, you know what, I'm just going to do a clean install of Mojave. And I support clean installs whenever possible. So we erased his hard disk, or he erased his hard disk, and he did a full super duper backup. He had his Time Machine backup. And when we went to install Mojave, it would kernel panic during the installation. So we did it from an SSD. We did it from a thumb drive. We even tried using the recovery partition to do it, and all of them kernel panicked. So he took it into Apple. They think it's the SSD. I'm smelling a little more logic boardy myself. But anyway, that means he's been trying to run the live show from his 13-inch MacBook Pro, and it looks like that might be a teeny bit more than, I'm sorry, Mimo Live might be a teeny bit more power hungry than his 13-inch MacBook Pro can handle. So we are now doing a Google Hangout just like the old days. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting, at least for the live audience. So you guys don't care, so let's get started with the show. Well, you know how sometimes forms on the web are super helpful, showing you nice green boxes around the fields you filled in correctly, and maybe popping up a nice little hint if you don't give it exactly what the developer was expecting. That method of highlighting things as you work on them and when you submit a form telling you whether you did it right, that's called form validation. In this week's Programming by Stealth on Chit Chat Across the Pond, Bart Buchatz teaches us how to give the users of our forms helpful feedback with Bootstrap 4. If you'd like to learn more, subscribe to Programming by Stealth or the full Chit Chat Across the Pond feed in your podcatcher of choice. And of course, you can always listen over at podfeet.com, and you'll also find a link to Bart's amazing tutorial there as well. I think I'll save more often than usual. What do you think, guys?
That's a good idea. Save often, save early.
Is that your vote in the United States thing?
Yes.
V. There you go. Copy and paste. Okay. I'm going to save again. All right. That's not it. I want this one here. Okay. Here we go. I'm glad you guys are all here, and I don't know. It's nice to have you guys here. I just always like it. I got to tell you. That's not the right window. Preview. That's the right window.
I think I'm logged in as you. So we've got two
pod feeds?
2 streamers.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Oh, you're right. You're Allison.
Yeah.
I'm you, and you're Allison.
So I can stop the broadcast right now, so be careful.
Wait. Oh, why would you want to do that?
No, I'm joking.
It took me so hard to get started, Steve. Don't do it.
I'm joking. I'm just saying that I shouldn't have this control right now.
You're saying you have the power. Yeah. Maybe you were logged in as me when you did it.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, you enjoyed being here. That's good. Dave, you make me feel good.
So I can also force the screen. So that's you forced video. Even if I'm talking, it'll stay on you.
Is everybody seeing just me when he said that?
Remember, Google Hangouts is voice activated, so it goes to whoever's talking. But you can also force, fix a video.
Right. So I don't see it change when you do that. So I was asking the audience whether they see that.
So right now it's fixed on me. Even though you talk, it'll stay on me. And then now it's on both of us, whoever talks.
Okay, sweetie. That's nice. All right, here we go. Mute yourself. Oh, Dave says no, it's still flipping. Kevin says fix it to Steve. Okay, I'm recording. I don't usually do a rundown on the Apple announcements unless I'm on someone else's show, but I'm going to make an exception this time. I did get to be a guest on Daily Tech News Show, but the format of the show doesn't really lend itself to a lengthy discussion of the details and what we really think about it. It's a new show, so it's not a news show, it's a news show. Over. I'm going to make notes because I can't remember to do stuff after news. I don't usually do a rundown on the Apple announcements unless I'm on someone else's show, but I'm going to make an exception this time because I did get to be a guest on the Daily Tech News Show, but the format of the show doesn't really lend itself to a really lengthy discussion. It's a news show, so there's really not time to dig deep. Now, I'm not going to drone on and on like I normally do, maybe a little bit, but I do want to talk about what I thought was interesting. Let's start with the MacBook Air, and I'd like to start by being snarky. Now, I know Tim Cook is an amazing leader, and he's got huge value to the Mac faithful in so many ways. But sometimes his attempts at showmanship really look silly to me. When he started the announcement by flinging his arms wide and yelling, "Now with Retina," I thought that was really, really dopey. Of course, Apple needed to bring Retina screens to the MacBook Air, and I'm not unhappy about that. You've heard me say many, many times that I simply won't recommend the MacBook Air to anyone with that dreadful low-resolution screen. But when he yelled Retina, he acted like Tom Hanks in Castaway when he made fire. I looked up and the first time I looked it up, and the first time Apple used the marketing term Retina was on the iPhone 4. And the first Mac with Retina is now actually considered vintage because it was introduced in 2012, 6 years ago. So I'm sorry, Tim, you don't get a standing ovation from me when you put it on a laptop 6 years later. You get an "it's about time" from me. Well, I think one of the most interesting things about the MacBook Air is that they gave it Touch ID without Touch Bar. 2 years in, I got to say, I don't really use Touch Bar very much, except for the things that would have existed on physical keys like volume and brightness of the screen. It was an interesting innovation, but I don't think it's a bad thing if it just quietly goes away. Touch ID, on the other hand, is transformative. If you use a password manager, you do use one, right? Anyway, not having to type in your long, complex password to unlock your vault is positively joyous on the Mac. Now, when they were talking about battery life on the MacBook Air, they said it would give you 13 hours of iTunes video playback. They did not say video playback. They said iTunes video playback. The reason I highlight this point is that it's a clear signal that Apple works to optimize their software for the least amount of battery drain. I've heard a lot of people talk recently about short battery life problems on their Macs when they're using Chrome. But then it turns out the battery life is fine when they use Safari. Now, I'm not Google shaming here. I'm really not. It's just a cool thing that Apple does that we shouldn't take for granted, that they work really hard to make things not chew up our battery. Now, Android is getting a lot better on battery drain, and with fast charging, it's not that big of a deal for them, but Apple manages to squeeze a lot more battery life out of the same milliamp hours. When the Touch Bar MacBook Pros first came out, Steve was looking to upgrade his aging 13-inch MacBook Air. The new 13-inch MacBook Air weighed 2.96 pounds, and the new 13-inch MacBook Pro weighed 3.02 pounds. So weight was absolutely not a determining factor in his decision between those two machines. The Retina display and more power for the same heft of a machine made the MacBook Pro the easy choice for him. Now, though, the MacBook Air has dropped to 2.75 pounds. I know a quarter of a pound doesn't sound like much, but that's more than 8%, and I can definitely feel the difference at 8%. Having a Retina screen with Touch ID and saving 8% in weight starts to look pretty sweet if you travel a lot with your computer. I also think it's wicked cool that the MacBook Air is made out of 100% recycled aluminum. As the keynote continued past talking about that, I kept wondering, where's all this recycled aluminum coming from? Especially when they said the Mac Mini was also recycled aluminum. Well, when they got to the iPad announcement, that's when they explained it. They make so many iPads, the leftovers are enough to make the chassis for Mac Minis and MacBook Airs. That is crazy. Now we should address the speed. I am not a CPU testing person, and I don't even spend much time studying the comparisons. But luckily, my research assistant, Stephen Getz, is positively obsessed with this topic. He has explained that the new MacBook Airs have an inferior chip compared to what is in the MacBook Pros. He sent me an article from 9to5Mac that talks about the latest Geekbench test scores of the new MacBook Air. As the article explains, the absolute Geekbench score really doesn't tell you much about what real-world experience will be, but if you look at a comparison between two machines by their Geekbench score, you get an indication of their relative performance. Now, I don't want to repeat all of the statistics from the 9to5Mac article. I put a link to it in the show notes if you want to see all of the gory details. But the basic discovery is that going from the 12-inch MacBook to the previous MacBook Air to the new MacBook Air to the touch barless MacBook Pro is only a matter of very small incremental improvements in speed. Now, some of the models I just listed are the same speed as each other. A couple of them were 16% apart, and the most there was in that string of models I just said was a step up of 27%. But there is a huge jump in speed when you go to the 2018 Touch Bar MacBook Pro, which is actually double the speed of the 2018 MacBook Air. Now, with all that said, think about this. Bart creates all of his audio podcasts for Let's Talk Apple and Let's Talk Photography and records with me on my shows with a first-generation 12-inch MacBook, and he simply adores it. When I upgraded from a 2013 MacBook Pro to a 2016 Touch Bar MacBook Pro, I was unable to personally measure any speed increase in my real-world tests. Now I'm including transcoding 5 GB videos from ScreenFlow. I should say that the SSD was more than twice as fast in copying files, but the processor jump that should have been extraordinary made absolutely no difference to my daily work. So you can obsess over specs and Geekbench scores, or just get the Mac you can afford and is the weight you want it to be, as long as you get one with Touch ID. Don't get a Mac without Touch ID. Just don't do that. Don't do it at all. All right. The new Mac Mini is an interesting little device because I think the product kind of serves two distinct audiences. When Steve's mom and dad were ready for upgrades to their computers, we looked at a few options. Steve's mom had a MacBook connected to a 24-inch monitor, and to be honest, she very rarely moved the MacBook from her desk. She had no big need for a laptop. On the other hand, Steve's dad had an old 17-inch iMac, and he loved it, except that it was really, really slow. Well, we considered advising them to get two new 21.5-inch iMacs, and even though they could afford the cost, it seemed like overkill for them. Instead, we opted for two Mac Minis, using his mom's existing monitor, which she loves, and getting a new 24-inch monitor for his dad. Their computing needs are very modest, and they love the speed bump they got, and they're super happy with them, especially for the cost. I explain all of that because the new Mac Mini is still the most affordable entry point Mac that Apple offers at $799 for the base model. That is a big jump in price from the $499 starting point on the 2014 model, but that's 4-year-old technology in there. Starting with all SSDs and going from a Gen 4 Intel i5 to a Generation 8, going from dual core to 6-core, from 1.4 gigahertz to 3.6 gigahertz, these things are all huge differences. Did you also hear that it supports 10 gigabit Ethernet? Personally, I don't have a 10 gigabit network, but if I did, I'd sure want to be able to fly on it. All right, let's head back to 9to5Mac to see whether the Geekbench scores there tell us how big that leap really is. According to 9to5Mac, the base Mac Mini single core score, the new one, beats every current generation Mac aside from the latest quad-core 4.2 gigahertz iMac. Seriously. The Mac Mini beats everything but the 4.2 gigahertz iMac. It's crazy. It also said that, now that was in single core, the multi-core performance is actually in the range of the latest Mac Pro. Okay, sorry, I'm going to stop and save. That is too many. There's a hey instead of should be they. And what was I trying to say there in that last sentence? Latest get Mac Pro. I don't know what that was supposed to be, but I should fix that typo. I don't know. Steve, you want to talk to anybody? 4 cores, baby.
I'm muted. I can't talk.
Oh.
Did you hit save?
I did. I like what Toby just said. A 40-pound Mac from before I was born is my Mac setup. That's an interesting statement. What does that tell you about the longevity of these machines, that you're using a Mac that's older than you are? That's phenomenal. I mean, even if you're 4 years old, that'd still be amazing.
Not that TJ's 4.
No, just Mac Pro. Okay, that's me going up as I read this. What? I wonder what I was even trying to say. What do you think I meant? Oh, and it said faux. It says faux, F-O, the latest dash get Mac Pro.
Maybe
I think I'm going to
4?
assume that's of the latest Mac Pro, and get just got in there for no reason.
Full get.
Actually, I'm going to fix that right now since I am talking to you guys anyway. Faux space there of the latest Pro. Right. And somewhere I said, hey, G, Command G, no, space, hey, space, Bay. There it was. Okay, good. Got all my typos.
Rush asks if get was Jen. Jen.
Oh, Jen. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what was. Thank you. Latest Jen. I didn't let Steve proofread this, so I am not. Oh, you know what? It's autocorrect. It's trying to change it back to latest get. Okay. All right. Let's go back here and keep going. Okay, mute yourself, Steve, please. Now you know who the second audience is. Not Steve's parents, but professionals who need every bit of power squeezed out of their machines because every minute spent is money not made. I spec'd out a Mac Mini with the top of every single choice, upgrading it to the fastest processor, adding 32 gigabytes of RAM, and bumping the SSD to 2 terabytes, and then I threw in 10 gigabit Ethernet for grins and giggles. That brought the modest little $799 Mac Mini up to $4,200 before Apple Care and tax. Again, when time is money, that's a tiny bit of cost with an amazing amount of power. Now, let's talk iPad Pro. Apple did something really interesting with the new model iPad Pros, or is it iPads Pro? Anyway, we wondered whether they would shrink the bezel and make the iPad smaller, or whether they would keep the same form factor and make the screen bigger. Well, they did both. The new 11-inch iPad Pro is the same physical area of the 10.5, but with a bigger screen. Now, you'd think that 0.5 inches isn't much, but it's actually a huge increase in area. Then, on the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, they actually kept the same screen size, but shrank the form factor considerably. Now, I ran the math, even though Apple told us during the event, and the new 12.9-inch iPad Pro is 24% smaller in volume and weighs 9% less. Now, that's a really exciting change, at least for me. I think for a lot of people, this is going to make it even harder to choose between the two model sizes. Now, while size and weight are a huge factor, I think I'm most excited about having Face ID on an iPad. Touch ID rocks, but Face ID is even cooler. The speculation that Apple would only be able to make it work in portrait mode was completely wrong, and Apple actually leaned in when they made it work in all 4 orientations. That's going to be so awesome. Plus, Memoji on an iPad. Am I right? Come on, Kaylee. We are so doing this. Anyway, I know people hate the speed comparisons, but it was pretty interesting when they said that the new iPad Pro is faster than 92% of laptops shipping today. Let's head back to 9 to 5 Mac and see what the Geekbench scores actually say. Now, I was hoping that they would give us a comparison to some PCs, but they stuck to Mac comparisons. The new 2018 iPad Pro is as fast as the 2.6 gigahertz i7 2018 MacBook Pro in single-core performance. But the 6-core performance on the MacBook Pro does beat the iPad Pro, but they say not by much. They didn't give the stats, but it wasn't by much. Now, I don't know much about Metal, but if you do, you'll be glad to know that the Metal compute score rose 40% over the previous gen iPad Pro. Now, I was fascinated by how little outcry there was when Apple swapped out the Lightning port on the new iPad Pro for USB-C and removed the headphone jack. It seems to me that the initial outrage about USB-C is finally kind of fallen away and people see the advantage of it. I am curious about one thing, and it's obvious I just don't understand. When they were talking about external display support for the iPad Pro, they didn't say that it was Thunderbolt 3 on that USB-C port. I'm a bit confused because my understanding was that you need Thunderbolt 3 to carry the HDMI signal in order to drive that display. I double-checked the tech specs on iPad Pros or iPads Pro, and it definitely only says USB-C, not Thunderbolt 3. I can't wait to see if I can drive my LG 5K display or perhaps my 27-inch Apple Cinema display via DisplayPort from my upcoming 12.9-inch iPad Pro. I got enough adapters and docks around here. If I can drive one of those, I will make it go. Now, I haven't talked about it much here, but my love for Apple Pencil has actually dried up. I'm no artist, as you well know, so my main use for Pencil was with the awesome third-party keyboard MyScript Stylus. Sadly, the developers declared it end of life, and they have no plans for keeping it going, so I haven't been able to use my Pencil to do that ever since. But if you are a Pencil pusher, you'll like the changes. Looking back on the first Pencil, the number 2 Pencil, as Rene Ritchie of iMore hoped it would be called, is so much more logical. Magnetic, yay. Wireless charging, yay. And it's flat on one side so it doesn't roll off the table like it used to. Since you never have to plug the Pencil into the side of the iPad, which really, let's be serious, looked like an accident waiting to happen, you don't have to pull a cap off that the cats are going to find and hide from you. At least that's what happened in my house. I do have to confess that I wasn't paying attention when they explained why you'd want to tap on the Pencil, so I'll wait till I get mine next week to figure that part out. Yeah, of course, I bought the Pencil because I got to play with it, even if I don't need one. It was also interesting to me that one of the selling points of iPad Pro is that it's essentially a giant battery pack. The 11-inch model has a 29 watt-hour battery, and the 12.9-inch has a 37 watt-hour battery. Now, remember when we ran through the math to figure out whether a portable battery could charge a laptop? I'm not going to go through all that again, but here's a data point for you. The 12-inch MacBook has a 41.4 watt-hour battery. If we assume 72% efficiency, which is what we came up with before, you could get a 64% charge of that 12-inch MacBook with a 12.9-inch iPad Pro. Guess that's to be expected, though, since the iPad Pro is actually bigger than the MacBook. You'll definitely be able to top off your phone with an iPad Pro when you need to, but you'll have to be careful not to plug anything into it when you don't want to drain your iPad Pro. I know we don't do a lot of connections between things like that, but you got to be careful. Don't plug anything in. You don't want to be sucking battery out. Now, my friend Dean said once that it's really hard to justify your first Apple purchase, but it's really easy to justify your second and your third and your fourth. I have to wonder whether the new pricing of the Apple Gear might keep people from opening the door that very first time. The entry-level iPhone used to be $350 for the SE, but now it's $450 with the iPhone 7. The entry-level Mac Mini used to be $500, but now it's $800. The 11-inch MacBook Air started at $900, but now the lowest cost Mac is the old model 13-inch MacBook Air at $1,000. There is one place you can still get a great device that's actually a new model this year, 2018 model. That's the 9.7-inch iPad starting at $330. The weird thing is, it's actually significantly less cost than the iPad Mini 4 that was introduced 3 full years ago. So the lesson is that if you want to convert your friends to the truth and the light, the answer is to start them off with a 9.7-inch iPad so they don't have to sell a kidney to join us. You know, they're going to need that kidney later when they buy their second Apple device.
Woo!
Yay. Did I make a funny or was somebody else funny? Nope, somebody else was funny.
Save as the gremlins are hovering around, says Kevin.
I will. But it is time for, I saw another typo. I think it was an easy one, though. I think it was an open parentheses without a close. I had a teacher in high school who said, if you open parentheses and don't close parentheses, I figure I don't need to read the rest of everything you wrote.
That is true.
Okay.
All an aside.
Yeah.
Hey, your LifeX strip went off.
It did. Why?
I don't know. Oh, no. Wait. No, it's on. I thought that was light coming through the window.
Well, hey, where's Sandy?
She's here. She was here.
Sandy?
Did she leave us? Oh,
no, hang on. No. I just wasn't scrolled up. Nobody has noticed Sandy has a new role.
Wingwoman 1. Yes.
Not only does she have a new role, her role is above the wingman's.
Wow.
I was hoping somebody would notice that and be mad.
Kevin will respond, I'm sure.
You think? There it is. Oh, man, I'm only done with one blog post. I thought it was almost done. Okay.
2 more to go.
Oh, nuts. The second one is, no, 1 more to go. I only did 2, but yeah. Oh, no.
What?
Oh, that's not good.
What?
My Luna display post appears to be, that isn't finished. Oh, nuts. Hang on. That was not supposed to be published. That's got like ends in half a sentence.
They won't notice.
Yeah, if I don't spam people, but I bet it's in your Feedly. Sorry, I do not want that out there unpublished. It was crap. That's why I'm not going to read it today. So this one is what I'm going to read. Come on, log in. Log in. There we go. Don't want that one. I would like this one. Yeah, sorry. I've got to go fix that. That is supposed to be, how did that get, oh, it is in draft. Oh, good. Okay, never mind.
You're good?
Yes, and I do need a chapter mark. Preview, chapter mark. Come on. Come on. What is that on your shirt, Kevin? It sort of takes away the anger when you're wearing a cartoon face.
Looks like it's got some 3-dimensionality to it, or maybe that's just the shirt.
I don't know what that is. Okay. More ports for less money.
Yoshi.
Right. This used to work in one step and it doesn't anymore. There we go. Okay. Save. Start recording here. No. Thank you. That's not it. Preview. There we go.
Sure.
All right.
Dark out there.
I know. It's weird. Okay. Mute yourself, dear.
All right.
These days, we seem to be plugging more and more things in our computers. Sure, we have sleek, thin laptops, but when we sit at a desk, it's great to have a big monitor, lots of real USB-A ports, and have a way to charge our devices. If you're over the top like me, maybe you need to plug in microphones and extra cameras as well. In January, I treated myself to a Belkin Thunderbolt 3 dock to hook up all of my devices. You know, I have this great tendency. I buried the lead in and put it all in a post entitled Thunderbolt Docks. Just because you can plug it in doesn't mean it will work. I want you to have to work to find my content, right? Anyway, that was actually a review of a Belkin dock. If I didn't want to do that, why else would I name my site and my flagship podcast Complete and Utter Nonsense? Anyway, the Belkin Thunderbolt 3 dock works great, and I have no complaints. But recently, a company called Accell, that's Accell, asked me if I'd like to test and review their Thunderbolt 3 dock. At first, I thought there wouldn't be much to talk about with a dock, but I was wrong. Let's think about the criteria for a good dock before we jump into the comparison of the Belkin and Excel offerings. I would suggest that you would care about the following things. The right connectivity to your computer. In the case of modern Mac and PC notebooks, that would be USB-C. You would want one single cable from your notebook to the dock. You'd want the ability to charge your laptop through that one cable. You'd want USB-A, Ethernet, and more USB-C ports that carry Thunderbolt 3. You'd want connectivity to the kind of monitor you have, either DisplayPort or HDMI, depending on your needs. You'd want it designed in a way that keeps your desk as neat and organized as much as possible with the plethora of devices you want to hang off of it. And you'd want to spend the least amount of money possible. I think that's a pretty good list. So let's start with the cost and work backwards. Currently, the Excel Thunderbolt 3 dock is running $300 on Amazon. However, if you look closely, after clicking my Amazon affiliate link, right below that $299 price, there's a checkbox next to the word coupon. If you check that box, no coupon numbers required, the price will magically change to $250. Now, I'm not sure how long this coupon's going to last, but my contact at Excel said that it was a holiday coupon. So I don't think you need to drop everything to get it, but don't waste your time. Don't waste time getting into it. In contrast, the Belkin Thunderbolt 3 dock I purchased is priced at $335, which is actually $35 more than when I bought it originally. We've got a win for the Excel dock on price, saving you $85. Let's switch gears and talk about connectivity. I don't want to just list out all the number of ports on each dock because you can look up specs on your own. I'd rather kind of describe my use case for each dock and how well they worked for me. The Belkin dock has most of the connections on the back, but it also has a USB-A port and a headphone jack on the front. Oddly, it also has a headphone jack on the back. It would seem to me that having those two ports on the front would be handy so you don't have to hunt around the back for the odd need, but it kind of leaves cables hanging straight out onto your desk and it's not as clean as it should be. Excel decided to put two USB-A ports and the headphone jack on the right-hand side of the dock. That makes them just as accessible as on the Belkin, but you can sweep the cables backward so they don't make the desk as messy. There's also a microphone jack on the side, a microphone in jack on the side, but I don't really have a need for that. I said I wasn't going to count out ports. I wasn't going to count out ports, I should say, but the Belkin has 3 total USB-A ports, while the Excel has 4. For me, that one extra USB-A port made a huge difference. With the Belkin, I was one short, so I had to hang a USB 3 hub off of the dock to have enough ports to plug in all of my USB devices. That added clutter in my desk, and that's exactly what I'm trying to eliminate. Since it was a USB 3 dock, it also caused interference with my 2.4 gigahertz network until I moved it to a different side of my desk. With the XL, I was able to decommission my USB 3 dock, at least until I find something new I need to plug in. I should mention that the LG display that I have has 4 USB-C ports in the back, so it can be used as a hub. When I needed a new backup drive, I bought the Samsung T5 SSD as USB-C, so that's another reason the USB hub could be decommissioned. Now, both docks have a full-size DisplayPort connection, so I could drive my 27-inch Apple Cinema display from either one of them. You know, I've moved my my studio 3 or maybe 4 times during all of this construction. I found it was just too hard to use my second big monitor, and you know what? I don't actually miss it. That really surprised me. I was surprised at that, so I'm probably not going to start using that monitor on top of the 5K display. Now, both of these docks have full gigabit Ethernet, of course. Now, both docks have a USB-C port that supports power delivery. They also call that PD. PD is required to be able to charge your notebook via USB-C. Now, the Belkin has an 85-watt power supply, while the XL only has a 70-watt power supply. For a 13-inch MacBook Pro, that's just fine, but for my 15-inch MacBook Pro, it's going to charge slower than with my standard 85-watt power supply. That doesn't really matter to me, though, because I tend to leave it plugged into the dock for extended periods of time, and I've never seen a problem with it. I'm charged to 100% pretty consistently. Now, Belkin supplied a 1-meter USB-C PD cable, which is a perfect length to connect my MacBook Pro to the dock. But for some reason, XL only included a 0.5-meter long USB-C cable, and I actually can't reach from the dock on the left where I want it to go to my Mac on the right-hand side. So I cheated and I used the Belkin the Belkin cable while I was doing this review. Now, both docks have a second USB-C port, which works perfectly to drive the video signal to my 27-inch LG 5K monitor. Both of the docks have lights on the front that let you know they're powered up. Not really sure why that's so important, but if you like a good blue light on a device, they both have you covered. Let's talk about the bottom line here. I think the best thing I can say about the XL dock is that I was really sad that I had to send it back. It's not amazingly better than the Belkin, but that one extra USB port and having the ports on the side makes my desk so much less cluttered that I was in love with it, and I was sad to see it go. If you're in the market for a Thunderbolt 3 dock for your PC or Mac, I can definitely recommend the Axel the Axel Thunderbolt 3 docking station on sale. I got to do that again. And I definitely have to change that. It says touch bar, not. I have this really close things. Steve, what you're talking Telegram and it's dinging like crazy to me for some reason. I think Telegram doesn't obey. And I don't even have Telegram up. Touch bar. That should be Thunderbolt. Preview, where was I? Almost done. If you're in the market, get rid of all those. If you're in the market for a Thunderbolt 3 dock for your PC or Mac, I can definitely recommend the Axel Thunderbolt 3 docking station, on sale now for $250 on Amazon. You can check out all of the tech specs and more at axelww.com. Okay, now you can ding.
So you were saying that Telegram is dinging, but it's not up? What's going on?
I do not believe. Nope, it is up. Sorry, my bad. Telegram does not obey do not disturb. I have do not disturb on.
Yep.
I would like to know how they get away with that. In fact, I think they should be spanked for it.
Badly.
Okay, send that back up. Okay, we are almost done.
So someone was saying, I think, Dave, that he couldn't find the little checkbox to get the discount coupon or whatever.
It's really hidden.
He put a little photo in a little screenshot of what he sees, and it doesn't show it there.
Okay.
Maybe
that's not good.
It may depend on what link you use to get there, right?
Let me see.
Maybe the coupon's gone.
Coupon. I hope not. It was supposed to be good through like the 12th or something at the very least. All right, where is my affiliate link? Here it is. Okay, let me try it. Okay, I quit Telegram and I just got an alert on my watch and on my Mac from Telegram. I am not running Telegram.
How can that be?
Oh, come on. Yeah, right below it says give $50 off instantly.
Where do you see that?
Upon approval.
Where do you see that exactly, Allison?
No. That's an Amazon Rewards Visa card. Damn it.
Allison.
Okay. Right to Excel. Coupon gone. Thank you. Very good timing to tell me that. I will do a very brief interruption here of the show, and I will point that out.
So why do you think it should still be up?
Because they said it would be.
Oh, you talked to someone at Excel who said
yeah, I got the coupon. I got the link about the coupon from my contact. So I have a Telegram. Yeah. Thanks, John. Okay. All right. Mute yourself, please, Steve.
Okay.
Hey, I just got a notification from Dave Ginsburg, who tried the Amazon affiliate link that I put in the show notes to get the XL dock, and the coupon was gone. I am going to get a hold of my contact, try again in the next couple of days, and the coupon should hopefully be back. I will tweet and Facebook group and better yet, Slack the information when I find it. But she said it would be up, so I don't know why it disappeared, but stay tuned for that. Well, speaking of my Amazon affiliate link, whenever I tell you about a product on the show, I try to find it first on Amazon. I figure it's the easiest way for you to shop. We're all pretty lazy now, so bring it to us, right? It also allows me to encourage you to shop on Amazon. And if you do it through my links, a small percentage will go to help fund the production of the Podfeet podcast. Now, my links are all to the US store, but if you hear about a product and you want to buy it from the UK, Canada, or Germany stores, you can go to podfeet.com/Amazon to find links to your favorite store. I made the page using pretty flags of the countries just to entertain myself. Stephen Getz helped me find the flags. Anyway, you can also go to podfeet.com/funwithflags to go find those same Amazon stores if you like to giggle and think of Sheldon and Amy Farrah Fowler. I so appreciate all of you who do this. It does make a huge difference to the show. In fact, I'd like to do a special shout out to Canada for their support of the Podfeet podcast through Amazon. We finally reached the threshold to get a check cut this month from Canada Amazon. Canada Amazon? Oh, I'm too tired to fix that. Oh, wow, we're close to finishing on time. Security bits. And now I got to drag in. Actually, I think it's more interesting to watch my screen. And I think I can do a screen share here. Oh, let's just share the application, the window. That's fine. And you can see what I'm doing here. I got to go find the audio, which might be here. Nope, it might be here. Chit Chat Al. Going to put me up first, and then we're going to put Bart down here. Anybody can finishing? We started. Not connected to Slack. Wanted to join. Well, you can totally join. Go to podfeet.com/Slack. That's all there is to it. There's no invite required. It's the best thing ever. We are actually having a lot of fun. I mean, it's taken off. I got the answer to a question in there today. I had a problem with Markdown that I didn't know the answer to, and Alistair Jinks answered me. So we're getting some help in there. And Bart is actually participating. So
it was supposed to kind of replace the failing Google Plus NosillaCast page, but it's kind of taken off and become much more.
Yeah, I think it has.
It's more capable in many ways.
I mean, I hesitate to get rid of the Facebook group because it's super fun too, but people are really, really liking it. And a lot of people want to cut off Facebook as much as they can. So it is an interesting.
It's the alternative to the Facebook NosillaCast page.
Yeah. Just like the Google Plus people, I won't abandon any chance to talk to you guys. That's for sure. All right, so let's see how that lines up.
Until Google abandons it.
Yeah, even Dorothy's slacking. Kevin's slacking.
Yeah, we got a lot of slackers.
Frank slacks, right? The live show. Alan slacks. Alan's in there. It's always confusing because you put yourself in as Alan. I always think of you as AI. That's what it looks like to me. All right, Amazon.
Dave's going to be slacking in a minute.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's fun in there. It's
talking to the neighbors. Yeah, who wants that?
Yeah, we do not want to talk to people in real life. Okay, let's see. Canada, Amazon. Oh, I'm dancing. Nobody can see me. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots, everybody's favorite part of the NosillaCast. How are you doing today, Bart?
I am doing grand. Well, I mean, ignoring the Irish weather and the fact that it's winter again and the fact that we're on winter time and it's dark and icky. I'm ignoring all of that. I'm grand.
So I probably shouldn't mention the part that I had to wait to take the dog on a walk because it was 82 degrees outside and it was too hot.
Allison, this morning was the coldest of the winter so far. It was -2 air temperature when I left the house.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. This is why God sends earthquakes to us, is because of jerks like me torturing people like you.
Well, it's on average, everyone has to deal with the nature being evil. So you can either have it as, exit bike.
It's funny. I was looking at the waveform and I was trying to figure out what this weird square wave was in there. We posted into the show notes or into the chat. but it's like, see that big square thing?
And we don't see your screen.
No, I just pasted it into Discord.
Oh, okay.
And that's this.
Wow. Bart pretty much peaked the audio with his Raspberry.
Yep. That was funny.
May have been a little clipping there.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Come on. There we go. All right.
Then stay patched, stay secure.
I was saying, we often have little mess ups at the end, and I was saying to Bart, we really should have been saving him all these years and made just a string of them, of all the mess ups. Let's see, what is the ending of the show? Oh, I have to read something. That's what's supposed to happen now. Let's see, split, and I'll do it there. All right.
Stay patched, stay secure.
Well, with that, that's going to wind us up for this week. We did survive on Steve's 13-inch MacBook Pro and doing a Google Hangout, so we're agile. We can roll with it. We did manage to do the live show. We didn't keep the kids too late after class. It's only 6:02, so we did pretty good. But it is going to wind us up for this week. Do not forget to send in your dumb questions. I haven't had a dumb question in a while, at least not a dumb one I could answer. You're supposed to send me the easy softball ones, not the hard ones. Anyway, something you think is too stupid to ask, but I bet somebody else has the same question. Send it on over. You can also send comments and suggestions. You can email me at allison@podfeet.com. You could send me comments on Twitter @podfeet. And remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com/whatever you want. You want to join our Patreon? Go to podfeet.com/Patreon. You want to talk to us in our Facebook group, podfeet.com/Facebook. You want to join the new fun, shiny Slack group that we have going? We have, last I checked, it was like 94, 95 people have joined already, podfeet.com/Slack. And if you want to join the chat room, Discord, that's podfeet.com/chat. If you want to find those Amazon affiliate links, where do you go? podfeet.com/Amazon. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Watch the sausage get made with the friendly and enthusiastic Nosilla castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.
Look at you freewheeling there.
Look at me just throwing it in there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Hey, did you want to say, or maybe you did, that are we going to have a live show next Sunday?
Oh, that's right. So we're going to do a live show, but we're going to do it from Steve's sister's house in Phoenix.
So we better perfect this MacBook.
Well, I'm thinking we just go right to a Google Hangout.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm thinking it was a good test that we tried Mimo Live, and we're just going to do that. Don't you think, Steve?
Yeah.
So expect this cruddy video. I did have an app that allowed me to do 3-up that showed my face and Steve's face and all that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did have something that combined a couple things, but
I don't remember what I used anymore. Anybody remember what that was? Nope. Let's see how that sounds. Sting and stay subscribed. Yes, you do, Dave. Absolutely. You owe me a chit-chat topic. We're going to do chit-chat together. We got to do that. Dave is so fun to talk to. Definitely want to do that. I need to book somebody for next week, but I think I have an idea of who I'm going to do. I think I've got 2 options open to me. I'm also going to have the Mac Quadcast guy on, Darren, whatever Darren's last name is. I got to be on his show, so I'm going to have him on my show. He is really fun. I think that'll be a good time. Why isn't there a chapter mark for security bits?
There should be.
Certainly should. Nobody put one in. In security bits, we got in this conversation where
in security bits. Oh, in security bits.
Security bits, comma. I did this. We started talking about why security bits is at the end. My biggest fear is that if I put it at the beginning, nobody would listen. for the rest of my blather. And he thinks it's at the end so that people can tune out when they don't want to listen.
Well,
At the very after we were all done, I said, by the way, I don't want anybody to tell me the answer to that, just so you know. We don't want to know. I don't want to know which it is. So don't say anything.
all right. Sandy wants to see Tesla.
Oh, well, you can do that, right?
Say hi to the folks. Just there. Sandy wants to see. Say hi. Say hi.
Oh, Tesla. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Let me stick on Steve. Sorry, hold her up again. I talked.
Okay, ready? Okay, one more time. Here we go. Yeah, there. Oh, there she is.
That's cute. All right. Well, I think we should let class go. What do you think, Steve? Thanks for staying with us. What's that? Oh, it's stuck on you.
Oh, let me unstuck it. How about that?
No, I think only I can unstick it. There we go. All right, I'm going to wave goodbye. And Steve, you wave goodbye, and then I got to kiss Rose goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Rose. Mwah. Bye, everybody. All right. I don't know how to make it go off. Okay, stop broadcast. That's how we do it. Bye.
I'll do it.